the real advantage that mobile mechanics have against the regular mechanic shop is their ability to scale at a higher rate than anyone else in their industry. Really, with mobile mechanics, there is no overhead cost of the actual shop. With that, they're able to simply get a van, get the tools, and head out throughout the city.
For a mobile application, you can go with a native development route, so you can create an individual Android app, an individual iOS app, and that definitely kind of doubles your development time, right? And since we were kind of a small team, I went with Flutter, and Flutter is a great framework. It allows you to develop mobile applications with one code base, and you're able to release on both Android and iOS.
yyctech, we're able to have an application that is used along with a device. We call it Frank, and from there it shows you that visual representation paired along with an easy to understand description, and then it connects you with a mobile mechanic who can come directly to your location and fix that problem. Where we come in terms of value to the mobile mechanics is we're able to send the vehicle information at the instance at which a problem occurs to them. As a co-founder or a founder, and this is why I have so much respect for single founders, is you really have to have a high pain threshold in terms of what you're doing.
I think the really good thing is to talk about to someone who has done something similar in that same niche.
So you guys are high school buddies?
Yeah, we had a lot of mutual friends in high school.
Right. No wonder why you have that connection with each other. So my first question is, who is more agreeable between two of you?
Ben.
Who talks more in public?
Me.
Ben.
Who brings out random ideas more?
Me.
Ben.
Who says more, I hate meetings?
Shahab.
I guess, okay.
Okay, this is the last one. Who often says, even in the worst situation, is going to be okay?
Ben.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Startup Impact. I am Shivi, your host for the show. I've always believed in saying that everyone should share their story, that their power is in their story. And this is exactly what we are going to do today. We are going to share the story of two co-founders who are the students here and are passionate in starting the tech business. So they started the local Calgary tech business called yyctech. They are coming out with an application that focuses on vehicle communication, an application called vDrive that shows driver a visual representation of what's wrong with the car while simultaneously connecting them with trusted and capable mobile mechanics who can come to your location and fix the problem your car is facing. So let's welcome both the co-founders. The first co-founder and CEO, Ben Oguntimehin, who transitioned his career from architecture background into technology and is currently taking care of machine language and AI. Also, our second co-founder and the CTO, Shahab Salim, who takes care of all the technological affairs related to yyctech and is currently completing his computer science with UFC. So here we go. Welcome, Ben, and welcome, Shihab. Thank you so much for joining us today on the show. How are we guys doing today?
Doing good.
Thank you
Shivi.
so much. Yes, thank you so much for coming today. We have been talking about this, I know, from quite some time of doing this, but I'm really excited that we are finally doing it. And this is the first question that came in my mind when we spoke, and this is what I'm going to ask right now. How do you guys met? How do you guys met together? How do you guys decided that, okay, we are going to do this, we are here today? How did that story came up? So tell me first, how did you guys met? How do you guys know each other?
Yeah. So it all began when we both went to the same high school together, and we had a lot of mutual friends from there. And after high school, we kind of lost touch. However, I went into architecture, then finished from architecture, went into tech, and I was in Vancouver talking to various mechanics, trying to get their input on what we're trying to build. And I quickly realized that I needed someone with the technological talent and intricacies to get the application done. So I called one of my buddies, and he goes to computer science at University of Calgary.
Right.
And
So you guys are high school buddies?
yeah, we had a lot of mutual friends in high school.
Right. No wonder why you have that connection with each other when you guys are talking. So you guys, for how many years have you guys known each other?
Um, See, I graduated in 2017 in high
So
school.
roughly would say 5 to 6 years now.
Yeah, somewhere around there, give or take.
Great. Wow. Okay. So two high school buddies who then decided to start a tech company now,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So, Shihab, tell me what was in your mind when Ben reached out to you and shared the idea. What went in your mind, and why did you say yes to it?
Well, honestly, I was immediately interested because the way Ben kind of described the idea, like it really showed that disconnect between, your everyday driver and their car, right? A lot of people don't really understand what's going on with their car, except if they're, car experts. And so like you really addressed a problem and a thing that I personally related to when I was a kid. Our car had problems constantly. We'd go to the mechanic, fix the same problem after a few months. So like I personally related to that problem as well. And so like I thought, it'd be a great idea to actually try and join this startup and work on the same idea with the same mission in mind.
Okay, so when you guys thought about this idea, what I'm trying to understand is why you want to go into this roller coaster rabbit hole of entrepreneurial journey. Why did you thought that okay, let's start a business together? Why that mindset shift happened?
Well, I always had that kind of entrepreneur mindset, but I was really interested in working in technology that's relatively new to me. So as soon as I was introduced to the OD2 device, it was just so obvious that hey, let's really find out what this device could do, and let's get someone on board who can help out with that mission.
So when did you guys start it, and where is the company currently at the moment?
We started I started about a year ago. However, Shahab hopped on board 2020 September. Since then, we've gotten the application done, and we've also been in talks with manufacturers in order to provide the device.
So, Shihab, talk about since the time that you have joined this company, under your guidance of technology leadership, what is the technology stack that you guys are using, and why you have chosen one over another?
Sure. So of course in technology, you can do the same thing, hundreds of different ways, right? So, but based on our requirements, we really wanted to get a initial version out there. And so for a mobile application, you can go with a native development route. So you can create an individual Android app, an individual iOS app, and that definitely kind of doubles your development time, right? And since we were kind of a small team, I went with Flutter, and Flutter is a great framework. It allows you to develop mobile applications with one code base, and you're able to release on both Android and iOS. So it has that speed and efficiency. It's also created by and maintained by Google. So it's very reputable and it's a great platform to work with. And then in terms of our backend, we used similar idea. We tried to speed things up. So we used a sort of a backend as a service called Hasura, which essentially will create a GraphQL API or backend for you. And so this really allows us to kind of speed our application, our development time at least 3 times than if we create it natively and create our own backend, right? So, and also the performance of both of these frameworks, are great. They have a lot of users and a great community. So far it's been working great. We haven't had any troubles with the current platforms in our tech stack, and the tech stack is continuing to grow. These are very modern technologies as well.
So you mean to say that you have currently launched a product, or what's happening? Where is the product at present?
So we haven't launched it yet, but because we're still kind of
Mhm.
with the manufacturers and the device, but basically all the other independent application related stuff
Right.
has been developed. And yeah.
Right, right. You mentioned a term called mobile mechanics. Could you tell us what is that? A bit more into it. I've not heard about that before. So could you tell me what is mobile mechanics? Why did you choose mobile mechanics? What is happening within Calgary on mobile mechanics, and why you guys are into mobile mechanics?
Sure. Yeah. The real the real advantage that mobile mechanics have against the regular mechanic shop is their ability to scale at a higher rate than anyone else in their industry. Really, with mobile mechanics, there is no overhead cost of the actual shop. With that, they're able to simply get a van, get the tools, and head out throughout the city. Ideally or theoretically, you'd only need 5 mobile mechanics to be able to cover the entire city. So from there, there's been a lot of investments towards their industry, their particular niche, and we've recognized that there's been a lot of venture capital investments towards them. So in terms of the scalability factor and the ability for them to not spend a lot of money on the expenses, it makes a lot of sense to go with them. And also their advantage of being able to come directly to your location. Can you imagine the convenience you would have when you don't have to consistently go to a mechanic shop, carve out 5 hours out of your day? The mechanic can literally just come to you. So that's really why we have that motivation to move towards them.
Yeah, I could. While he was talking, Ben, I was thinking that how much time do I spend in a month, in a year, going to the mechanic shop? And it would have been so easy if somebody can just come to my doorstep and help me out with that. So run me down through a case study. So let's say if my car breaks down, right? What happens next? Could you just break down the steps that how VTech would help me?
Sure. So essentially, I'll first talk about what the current scenario is, and then I'll talk about how WeTech makes that entire situation better.
After
Um,
you. Sure.
the current scenario is that, let's say that you want to use a mobile mechanic.
Mhm.
Your car, it doesn't even have to break down. There could be a couple problems wrong with it. And then it could be in your garage, it could be on the highway, doesn't really matter the location. So you call a mobile mechanic, and from there, they answer your call, and they ask you certain questions called diagnostic questions. And really, your answers to those questions is what they use in evaluating the cost of how much it's going to take to fix that vehicle, or evaluating the tools that they need to bring to the site. So you can really see where there's a little bit of a discrepancy. So the knowledge that they gather is based on your knowledge. And now we know that not everyone is a car enthusiast, not everyone knows a lot about cars. Your answers may not be as optimum for them to be able to actually make intelligent decisions off of. So that's the current process. You call the mobile mechanics, or you go on their website and you answer the questions. They receive the answers. They either compute some sort of quote, and then they go out to your site or to your location. They come there, they fix the vehicle, and perhaps if they didn't bring enough tools, they have to book another appointment, or they don't have the parts, they have to book another appointment to come back another day. And you can
So
see
this is
how.
currently happening, correct? This is currently happening in this situation, that what's happening in the industry. Even with when we take a lot of insurance, people come and help us in the highways and everywhere based on our understanding.
Correct.
So now we're going to talk about how VTech is going to change this process.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So from there, like I said earlier, the solutions that they bring to the scene is dependent on how knowledgeable your answers are. So for WeTech, we're able to have an application that is used along with a device. We call it Frank, and from there it shows you that visual representation paired along with an easy to understand description, and then it connects you with a mobile mechanic who can come directly to your location and fix that problem. Where we come in terms of value to the mobile mechanics is we're able to send the vehicle information at the instance at which a problem occurs um, to them, so right to them. So their I guess their first exposure to the customer would be, okay, this customer has a problem. Okay, here's the fault codes. Here's vehicle data. All right, we can now make important decisions based off of the actual data. That way, they're able to shorten the amount of time that it takes to be able to, come to site. If there's not enough tools, if they don't have the right tools, they don't have to go back. They already have all the information to come to site ready and equipped.
So tell me, do I have to download the app, and do I have to, click the pictures where the damage is? How do I input the data there? How do I do that processing?
So basically, it's just very simple, right? You'd have a device, Frank. You'd plug it into this area that's made for devices like that. And we'd very obviously tell you where exactly you put it for your vehicle. Plug it in, you download the app, right? And then you basically, on your app, it just connects with your device. Once you have that done, it'll just say, okay, do you want to scan your car? You press scan, it'll just scan your vehicles and just figure out if there are any issues or any codes or error codes that are thrown. It'll pick it up and it'll tell you, hey, this is a problem. It'll describe it to you like you're an everyday driver. You don't have to be a car expert to fully understand the details. And it might show you a visual representation of maybe this specific part of your vehicle, has that problem. And then from there on, you can just say, hey, okay, let me look through the list of mechanics, mobile mechanics that can come to me and fix that specific problem. You get to see the reviews, the ratings, how qualified they are. You get to pick. You call them, they come to you, problem fixed. And the thing I really wanted to add on what Ben was saying is that a simple way to think about it is, before, even if you think about, you don't even think about mobile mechanics, think about shops, right? What happens is if your everyday driver has a problem with their car, they don't know what's going on with their car, right? They don't know until they bring it to the shop and they ask the mechanic. The mechanic doesn't know until they do an inspection. What we're doing is, before you even call the mechanic, the customer knows what's wrong with their car. And then before the mechanic even comes to you, they know what's wrong with your car. So at the point of meeting up, both parties know exactly what's wrong with their car. The mechanic can fix it. The customer knows exactly what's wrong. They don't get ripped off. They fully understand what's going on, right? So that's kind of a simplified version.
Thank you for sharing that, Ben and Shihab. I'm just realizing it would have been such a pleasure if I could have that app. And while I'm driving, and if I'm on the highway, that's going to be like, I would say it would be a life saving at that point. So thank you for creating this app. I heard that you both used a fourth name, like apart from me, you and me, Ben and Shihab. You use the name Frank. So who is Frank?
Yeah, that's Frank is essentially the representation of all the algorithms, all the technology that we have created, and also the device. You can almost describe him as like an operating system for our entire product. Frank's ability to extract the vehicle's code from the vehicle's computer, push it over to the application, and then interpret it and provide a very easy and simple understanding. Um, that really is, because those ideas are so complex sometimes, especially the OBD2 device. Not everyone knows about an OBD2 device. It's kind of like a mouthful as well. So really, that entire process of streamline of data and interpreting data and bringing it in such a way that everyone can understand it, that entire process, we kind of honed the name Frank. And how we actually got that was the first mechanic I ever talked to. He was the person who I told a very surface level idea of what we were trying to do. And his name was Frank. He said that, he had a similar idea to this a long time ago. However, it wasn't fully formed and the industry and the economy wasn't ready for it. So his name was Frank. And, when I was looking through the entire process, it was just super easy to just comb it together and call it Frank.
I was just thinking that why Frank, why not Sam or Jean? But you just simply told me about the first mechanic. So a big shout out to Frank here. Frank, thank you for simplifying this process to us and giving us VTech here. So I'm excited to know that everything looks so good right now. So do you have any competitors currently in the market? What you guys are doing similarly? If no, then how do you guys plan to have that niche in the market?
Yeah, in terms of competitors, we have let's say maybe three. However, how we're far more superior to them is the ability that we have with our devices to extract the code of all areas of of your vehicle. Some of those competitors, they may lack the ability to read codes from the chassis system. which is kind of like your axis or wheel barriers. So they lack the ability to read those codes. They only have the ability to access the engine module, which is no good for a user. I can't be stuck on the side of the road and all I can see is an engine problem. I'm not going to be able to see a wheel problem or a braking problem. So really, how we plan to really outperform those competitors is being able to deliver the best technology. Sorry, for our users.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
As
Right.
well as, sorry if I can just add on to that, as well as the whole matchmaking system that is not something that is currently on the market. There is no device or a product that does that kind of matchmaking with mechanics where the mechanic know beforehand what exactly is going on, right? So we have that both the B2C side to the customer to understand what's going on and the B2B aspect as well. So I think that novel matchmaking system is very special here.
And there's also no business out there that's doing mobile mechanics. If you just look at the environment, people have really underappreciated mobile mechanics. We are just recognizing their value, and we're seeing where we can help them out in their market.
Everything is looking so fantastic. Just hearing those ideas at this moment, and I'm just currently waiting when this product is completely be out in the market. So, do you have any timeline currently when this is going to launch? And if it is, how is the first version going to look like?
Well, in terms of timeline, we'll be launching pretty soon. However, we still need to get some little parts in order. However, timeline is looking like we're launching pretty soon, within the next, I believe, month or two from now.
Oh, that's going to be very interesting. So tell me, like, you guys have figured out a lot of pieces at this point, and it looks like for a startup, you have done a lot of research, a lot of digging. I would say every day is like a roller coaster for you, but you still are doing, and you are here at this point. So, what are currently the major roadblocks that you are facing, if there is any?
So there would be since like Ben said, there is some the technological advancements we're providing are, are going to be the best in the market, right? So obviously to procure that type of technology, there are going to be some roadblocks in terms of manufacturing and production, that kind of stuff. So that is something we had faced in the past, and but we're essentially still making leeway. But of course, with any hardware type of device, if you want it to be the best technologically, you're going to face that at some point, right? And if Ben has any other things he would like to mention.
No, you pretty much covered it. We're super excited to actually release this product, and we actually did a little marketing earlier today, and we released kind of a little snippet of what the team is and what they're up to, and we were able to get somewhere around, I believe it's last I checked, which was a couple hours ago, it was 85,000 views and around 9,000 likes. I'm pretty
Wow, 85,000 views. You're more famous than me, actually.
pretty
That's going to be huge, huge. Um, that's just great to know that you figured out a problem, you developed a solution, and the solution is actually your passion. So you have actually joined all the pieces here together. So I mean, wow, we are just waiting for this product to get launched. So where is your team at present? Where is VTech team at present? How many people you currently have in the team apart from you both?
Hmm. Right now we have myself, Shahab, Kira, who does the manager. We have Adrian, who is senior software developer on the tech side, and then we have Munch, who is helping out with the marketing. So altogether, we're about five people, and we don't have a designated office. We all work in remote areas.
And isn't that amazing that during pandemic we can just work remote? We don't need an office. I'm working since last March from home. So that's the beauty of doing the startup at present, that we could save a lot of real estate cost at present. I also wanted to know that this is a question that I have been asked a couple of times from the people who are getting into the first time entrepreneurial gig, that how did they choose a co-founder? Everybody needs somebody to rely on. Everybody needs somebody to share their mindsets, their passion with. But when it comes to choosing a co-founder, what do you think should be the most important things look forward in choosing a co-founder?
So I think it depends a lot on. So obviously, if you're looking for a CEO, you're gonna be looking for different things, right? If you're looking for a CTO, obviously different things. But in terms of just the personal in general, um, although it really helps when the CEO is technical, and in our case, Ben has some technical understanding as well, so that's great. It helps us a lot. But in general, the person, I think it really is important that a lot of people might want to go with someone that agrees with them at all times, but that actually isn't the best for a business. Usually, you need to have that discussion and constant back and forth, or else you're just going to have basically just going on with what one guy is saying, right? So don't be afraid to be challenged or to challenge your co-founder. You should look for someone who does want to challenge you at all times, basically, and to just, of course, be intelligent, right? Be have some experience in, of course, what they're supposed to be doing. But I think that whole thing about the having some sort of opposition is important for co-founders. It really helps the business grow.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful to know that though you want to have the same passion in the end, that the success of VTech is important, yet you need to have a different thinking process to challenge yourself. So since you guys know each other a lot, now here is a small rapid fire for you both. So we'll go into the next phase of the conversation soon, but I just want to know how well you guys know each other. So here is a rapid fire. You don't really get time to think, so just believe on your instincts. Okay. So here is the first question. So my first question is, who is more agreeable between two of you?
Ben,
Who talks more in public?
Me,
Ben,
Who brings out random ideas more?
me,
Ben.
Who says more, I hate meetings?
Shahab,
I guess. Okay.
Who always asks for coffee?
Not me.
neither.
I think none of us.
Okay. Okay, this is the last one. Who often says, even in the worst situation, is going to be okay?
Ben.
Okay, that was easy. I don't have an hamper, but yes, you both are the winner. You guys really know each other pretty well. So now, coming back to VTech, what is 2021 going to look like under the leadership of Ben and Shihab, if I would say?
That's a good question. 2021 is going to look like we launch our crowdfunding campaign. We get up the revenue that we have planned for. From there, we'll be able to do a full launch, like a systems launch on the app and the devices as well. And then we'll also be able to, from that launch, assess whether we are able to bring on more people. We also have plans to pitch to some investors. From there, we'll be able to raise more capital to handle a lot more employees and also scale up in a lot of the features and services that we want to really provide to make the best out of this application and also just the best out of our relationship with our users.
When you just touched base, a lot of points that I really want to understand at this point is, and thank you for sharing your vision with 2021, that when it comes to starting the new business, and Shihab, correct me if I'm wrong, you have initially in 2019 be a part of a tech startup that you guys scaled and then sold, right?
Yes.
So you have been a part of this journey before. So tell me something. If somebody today, aspiring entrepreneurs, first time entrepreneurs who want to start their business, what are some things or some resources that they could look forward for that you guys have used and you guys have figured it out and you guys have wished if somebody was there to guide you, your journey would have been a bit smoother. So would you like to give some tips to those aspiring entrepreneurs, share some resources to them?
Yeah, sure. There are a lot of resources, as you might imagine. The thing is, like, personally, what I really like is the Y Combinator resources. They have a lot of great resources on their YouTube channel, everything to do with startups you can learn about. But obviously, there's other resources out there. In terms of tips, I think the most important one is the validation, right? So obviously, you can't fully validate a product until you get it into the hands of users. But what a lot of people do is they make the mistake of assuming, right? So I'm assuming that users want this. I'm assuming that they want this feature done, right? I think that this is what they want, but that's not actually how you should think about it. You should definitely talk to customers first, and you should kind of phrase it in a way that you're asking about their experience. For example, if I was going to talk to a user about yyctech, I wouldn't say, "Hey, here's our product. What do you think?" Right? Especially if there's someone you know. But in general, you would never do that. You have to say, "Hey, tell me about a time, or tell me about your experience with your car. How often does it break down? What do you usually do? What's your thought process?" Right? So you get to understand, the what exactly goes through their mind when they experience or face a problem that you're currently solving, and that will allow you to understand how to build your product and what you should be doing. And I think that's really the most important point I can give. I'm sure Ben has other tips as well.
Yeah, that's almost like the most important part, really validating your idea. Unless if you don't validate your idea, what do you have? You just have a project that you're working on that may never scale. One other point I have is, as a co-founder or a founder, and this is why I have so much respect for single founders, is you really have to have a high pain threshold in terms of what you're doing. There'll be a lot of times when people or your environment is knocking you down, or perhaps they may not see the vision, they may not see the area in which you're moving in, or they may not even see the bigger idea. So a lot of those things, and they happen whether or not you have something that's been validated, like Shahab says. Even though you do have something that's validated, there will always be external forces maybe devaluing it. However, as a founder or an entrepreneur or whatever, wherever you are, you will always have kind of bad news every day, whether you're reaching out to other businesses and they're like, no, we're going to move another way. Especially if you're starting small, you may not have the credibility or the clout in the industry. So you have to be able to move past those no's, because eventually one person is going to say yes, and that's all you need really. So it's really have a high pain threshold and keep moving forward.
Oh, those were really important tips, Shahab and Ben, that you guys shared, and the on-ground practical information. So that was very important. But let's say if I am still in the ideation phase of an entrepreneurship journey, are there any resources available out there that you guys have used that you guys want to share, maybe in Alberta or Calgary or in general?
So yeah, there are a few. Like Startup Calgary is good, right? You can talk to other kind of startup incubators, or there's a lot of. I think the really good thing is to talk about to someone who has done something similar in that same niche, right? So you talk to someone who has scaled a business that kind of tackles the same problems and the same niche. They'll basically tell you what hurdles they faced, and you'll have a better idea of, would this actually work, and they'll actually help you validate the idea. So if you can kind of like expand your network, try to find people in the startup community that actually have some sort of experience related to your idea, that's great. And like I said, there's a lot of these incubators or startup accelerators, or just community building, right? The Harvest Builders is a good one, for example, in Calgary. Startup Calgary, Startup Edmonton, those are all great resources.
Thanks for sharing those resources. You guys also mentioned that eventually you are planning to expand your team, and eventually when things goes well, you're looking to hire. So let's talk about that. So let's say in future, by the end of 2021, you guys plan to hire more people with you. So who would be the right hire for you, and what kind of hard skills or soft skills you would be looking in that person?
I think the number one skill above all else would be the ability to actually work in a startup. I don't think many people realize the difference between working in an established company versus working in a startup. In a startup, your job could be maybe 13 different tasks, and they could all not be related to the same industry. You may be working in tech, and then for some reason you have to move over to product development. You may be, in tech, you may have to move over to marketing. You have to kind of have a little bit of everything underneath your belt. Um, but yeah, it'll have to be someone who's able to adjust and really change with the environment.
Mm-hmm.
And along with I guess what we're looking for right now, I believe that we would place a little bit more priority on the technical skills, um, simply based on the fact that we're a tech startup. So we will place a little bit more emphasis on the technical skills. However, that doesn't dispute the fact that we definitely do need some business skilled people as well as some marketers.
Okay, gotcha. Talk about because tell me if I don't know this. Have you guys worked before as an employee and now you guys are an employer? Or
Yeah,
right. So when it comes from a transition of being an employee to a founder, what changes?
a lot. Yeah, especially if, yeah. So like I was working 9 to 5, software developer. Um, it's totally different, right? Because you don't have that emotional attachment. It's not your product, right? You can work on something and then after 5 o'clock, you're done, you go home, never think about it again till the next day, right? Whereas you're a founder, this is kind of like your baby, right? It's your product, where you think about it all the time. You have more responsibility because you're the one who has to actually get this off the ground. You have to oversee other things, like Ben said. You have to wear many hats, right? So it's a huge difference, right? And I'm sure Ben can add on to this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. When, like Shab said, when you're an employee, your job is simply whatever the person higher up told you, and that's all your brain power needs to be concentrated on. But once you shift in the role of a founder, you're not just looking at the company's present state of things, you're also looking at the company's future state of things. So you really have to be able to shift between those two mindsets. And if you're unable to shift between those two mindsets, you may keep your startup or your company stuck in the past. And you really have to be able to really strategize on various levels on what you view the company as and where you view the company going, and also having collaborative effort. Especially if you're a founder, you need to be able to talk and communicate with your partner or your team in an effective manner. Unless if the communication isn't there, then the startup isn't going to move anywhere.
Yeah, right. So tell me this that um, this is something that I wanted from you guys to know that we have currently seen a lot of job losses that has happened, especially because of pandemic. We have seen much job losses than ever before. So let's say if somebody is really looking for an opportunity, what should the person do to find a job in the pandemic?
Hmm. Yeah, of course, each different type of career is going to be a bit different, but speaking from the technical at least, honestly, what you can do is you just have to keep improving your skills, spending time. A lot of people kind of just they don't spend enough time, like just from a technical perspective, they don't spend enough time actually learning the modern technologies, actually spending time getting better, and they kind of expect things to fall into place, or they get discouraged, right? A lot of times people apply maybe 100 jobs and you're like, okay, I'm not getting anything back, and they just get discouraged, and that's totally normal, right? That's kind of how we are built, right? We don't like rejection, right? So the point is that you just have to keep trying. You just need one person to take a chance on you. It's the same with startups, right? You just need, one investor to take a chance on you. You need like your first few users, right? It's all like that. So just kind of keep trying. Don't get discouraged, but that doesn't mean don't try to reevaluate, right? If maybe you're not getting interviews, or you're getting interviews but you're not actually passing them, get help, reevaluate, practice with people. There's a lot of resources out there for this kind of stuff. But so yeah, my answer was kind of general. But
No, that was really important. It's all about the mindset that you talk about, Shihab, that we have to keep going. And thank you for relating it with the startup too. I really wanted to know that when was the last time either you or Ben actually took a day off? Because I have heard this a lot from a lot of entrepreneurs that even when you're not working, you are mentally typing a mail. You're mentally thinking about that how do we evaluate the product. Even if you're in the mountains, you're sitting with your notepad and writing the next product details that you want to grow up. So kudos to, I always have a respect for the people who are the hustlers, who are building something that they are really passionate about. So here is an opportunity that I want you guys to take up on. This is a part that we give to our speakers, to our guests, to ask anything that they want presently from the community, from the startup community, from the audience out there. Is there any ask, any opportunity that you are facing challenged, or you want to take some advice, or you want to ask anything that you require at this moment? So take this opportunity.
Um, it would be cool to get some people who have some machine learning skills under their belt. We do have plans to venture down that road, so it'll be really good to be able to have that in-house talent. Um, and also, our crowdfunding campaign is coming up. So if you guys would follow us on Instagram at WI underscore TECH.io, that'll be awesome. You guys will be able to see our journey and our updates. And we also have TikTok account as well. It should be linked on the Instagram.
Right. Thank you so much, Ben, for sharing that. So let's say if people want to connect with you both personally, where they could reach you apart from Instagram.
LinkedIn. Or we also have a LinkedIn company page. If you just search up we-tech, you'll find us, and you can directly connect with us from there. We're on the company profile.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, this is the most important part of our show where we talk about the mindset. So, this is a question for you both as being the co founders of yyctech. What is the impact? What is the impact that Ben and Shihab wants to create? What's the legacy that they want to create going forward?
Hmm. In terms of legacy, I'm really big on just trying to provide a product that is very useful to the everyday person. So I believe that all we're really interested in is making sure that this product is a success and everyone gets something that they want out of it. We want the company to be known for efficiency, quality, and easy. It's easy to use. It's not something that's too complex because we are venturing into a very complex industry where price transparency isn't an everyday thing. People don't really know how prices are generated from a bad car. So our goal is really to shine the light on price transparency in the automotive repair industry and really make it something that's accessible to the everyday driver.
That's really powerful, Ben. Thanks for sharing that. So, Ben and Shihab, before we close the show, is there anything that I missed on that you guys want to share? You guys want to talk about? We have some time here that we could look forward to share more into where you guys are and where you want, or is there anything that you want to talk about at present?
I don't have anything particular. Do you have anything, Ben?
Um, I think I just want to reiterate on the earlier point of having that high pain threshold, because really at the beginning of this whole WeTech thing, it was simply just one person who learned about OBD2 devices and who went out on his own and really tried to get the information from the industry. And that entire journey, it was not so easy to say. There was a lot of times where I could have simply just quit, like I could have simply just stopped. But being able to find really talented people and really seek them out. Don't just settle for just anyone. Seek out very talented people like Shahab. Really, really try and find them because they will both bring in, the skills or expertise under their belt, and together build a team that will truly make a mission that has started from earlier on, something that's worth actually buying into.
Thank you so much for that thought, Ben. That was really powerful. Every day we try, like giving up is so easy, but moving on and keeping that spirit high. So thank you for not giving up on this product, and thank you for making our lives easy. I would just say that I had so much fun, so much information in speaking with both of you. So kudos and hats off what you guys are doing, and you have all our support. And if there is anything that we could do to support you, please do let us know. We would be happy to support you. So thank you guys. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Shahab, for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Shivi, for organizing this. It's been amazing.
Thanks, Shivi.